lecture, or I can say the first lecture. I cannot say a demo kind of, but it is the first lecture. Uh, and to avoid disturbance to everyone, I have just muted all of you. We will be going through some of the topics, and then I'm going to unmute you so that we can discuss our few things. So let it be a proper classroom kind of lecture so that we can take things forward. Now remember, this is what we are learning. We are learning about your clinical medicine. That is all clinical parts about the medicine, and we are going to be talking about the most important symptom today, and that is going to be the cough, management of cough. Now remember, it is a huge topic. First of all, why we say huge topic? Because there are several things I can say. For example, when we talk about cough, 20% of you will be receiving patients who are uh, constantly someday or the other producing cough, or I can say more than 25 to 30% patients coming to you will be because of a most common symptom called an cough. And today's age, we are further worried because of the symptoms of the cough, because of coronavirus. It can be as simple as an allergic cough. It can be as complicated as the coronavirus, as the coronavirus infection. So it is a first of all, it is a huge topic. So it is difficult to cover everything that is the cough is going to produce in actually a one lecture, and it cannot be one single symptom. So cough as a symptom, when we talk about, let's say for example, what exactly is cough? What exactly is cough? Now remember, we talked about cough is not a disease. Cough is a symptom. And when we talk about a symptom, we have got a differential diagnosis. And that is what is most important to be understood. Because unless you know differential diagnosis, you're not going to make a diagnosis. We're not going to make a diagnosis. So differential diagnosis is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about all the causes of cough. What exactly the thing that's going to produce cough? What is the thing that is going to produce cough? And what exactly the thing that is going to uh, be along with cough? What are the differential or different types of coughs? That is what we're going to be talking today. So let's say when we talk about cough, cough is not a symptom. Cough is, I can say, a protective reflex. So if you only treat cough, you're not going to make a treatment, because cough is only a protective reflex. So what exactly produces cough? Remember, anything that is going to irritate the respiratory tract is going to produce cough. Anything that's going to irritate the respiratory tract. Now, it can be something in the, as we all know, the respiratory tract starts from, let's say for example, these are the lungs. I'm talking about the trachea. So respiratory tract starts from, I can say, pharynx, then we have a larynx, then we have a trachea, then we have bronchi, and then we have alveoli, and then we have the interstitium. Let's talk about an anatomy first so that we can understand the differential diagnosis of cough. Remember, it is not going to be very easy. It is not going to be very simple, because when we master cough, remember we have mastered 30% of the patients, but it is most difficult to think about all those causes of cough, make a differential diagnosis, and treat. It is not just like, for example, we have a dry cough and a productive cough. It is not just like dry and productive. It has got much more important things. So as we talked about, anything that is going to irritate the respiratory tract is going to be producing cough. Now, respiratory tract starts from pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, alveoli, and the interstitium. So, when we talk about cough, As we all know, we have got two major causes. A TV commercial also says about we have a dry cough and we have a productive cough. But there are several causes of dry cough, there will be several causes of productive cough and all those things. So what exactly is a dry cough? It's a cough that is not going to produce anything. That's going to be sputum. So something that is not producing any sputum is going to be dry cough. Something that is going to be producing sputum is going to be productive cough. By and large, of course, most of you know this. So where exactly is the sputum being produced? Now remember, sputum is all mucus. And remember, mucus is produced only beyond bronchi. Let's say these are the bronchi, the branches. So it is the bronchi that is producing mucus. So remember, all productive coughs are going to be originated in the bronchi. So all causes which are related to bronchi is going to produce a productive cough. Let's go step by step. Let's say, for example, let's say something that is going to irritate the respiratory tract. Let's say it can be pharynx. We all know pharynx is not going to produce any mucus. So the first type of cough, it can be a pharyngeal cough. Now, because pharynx doesn't produce any mucus, pharyngeal cough will be a cough which is produced by the irritation of the pharynx in the respiratory tract, and this type of cough is going to be a non-productive. But what are the other differential diagnoses? What are the other symptoms? Remember, first of all, it will be a dry cough. Secondly, patient will be having any irritation of the pharynx. Patient will also say, remember, pharynx is the common passage for air as well as food anatomy. So patient will also have a third symptom in the pharyngeal cough. There will be also a difficulty in swallowing. Why? Because pharynx is a common passage for respiration as well as food. What is the commonest cause? Pharyngeal cough, most common cause is a viral infection. Now remember, I'm not talking about always a coronavirus. It can be rhinovirus, it can be respiratory viruses, it can be adenoviruses. Most common cause is a viral infection. So pharyngeal cough, by and large, is produced because of a viral infection. Now, what are the other additional findings? So remember, there are about 15 to 20 causes of cough, and we are going to go step by step, one by one, starting from the pharynx to the larynx, to the trachea, to the bronchi, to the alveoli, to the interstitium. Not only this, remember, these are the respiratory causes of cough. Cough is also produced because of non-respiratory causes. Again, that becomes more complicated because non-respiratory causes can be cardiac cough. We also have patients coming to you with cough having a cardiac problem. Second, it can also be the gastrointestinal cough. It can also be mediastinal cough. It can also be psychological cough. If you go to the flowcharts which are there on Google, things becomes more complicated. We also have a fifth one called as your drug-induced cough. So these are all non-respiratory causes. All these will also be coming in cough management. So because of that, it becomes most complicated. So we are trying to make you analyze about first dry and productive, and then we will go into the details about everything. So first we were talking about is a pharyngeal cough. So as we talked about, pharyngeal cough is dry in nature, along with irritation of the pharynx, difficulty in swallowing, cause mostly is a viral infection. When you examine the patient on examination, usually 99% it is acute in nature. We don't see cough which is chronic originated in the pharynx, unless uh, it can be chronic irritation, ongoing irritation of the pharynx. But by and large, 90% is acute in nature. Now, this type of cough may also accompany common cold because it is the same viruses which are producing common cold as well as a pharyngeal cough. Again, I can say respiratory viruses will produce this type of cough. Now, this type of cough also accompanies the constitutional symptoms, being a viral infection. Remember, you don't have to write down anything. This PDF which is getting created will be given to you. But if we analyze cough like this, it's going to become most easy to understand as well as most easy to interpret. So on examination, we can see it is acute in nature. It may also accompany the common cold. Constitutional symptoms can be very common. Along with this, patient may also have fever. Patient may also have a body ache. So that signs you can elicit. And of course, when you examine the patient, when you examine this patient will be showing the redness or swollen oropharynx. Examine with a tongue depressor. When you examine with the torch examination, you can see there is a redness, swollen oropharynx. Now, for nasopharynx you cannot see, but oropharynx easily can be seen. So, do we require any investigation to confirm? We don't require. We don't require any. This is the commonest thing. Of course, many times patient doesn't come to you also. Patient takes treatment, and 70 to 80% of the times it is self-limiting and patient doesn't require any treatment. Of course, we're going from a most simple one to the most complicated one. It doesn't require any major treatment. So what exactly do we do as a treatment? First of all, it is a viral infection. So do we require to give an antiviral drugs? 99% of these viruses are self-limiting and they don't require any antiviral, any antibiotic. You don't require to give an antibiotic, and by and large, unless it is not a confirmed case of an coronavirus, that also we don't require an antibiotic these days. But we don't require any antibiotic. So what exactly do we do? क्या कर सकते हैं? We will have to give a symptomatic relief. So first of all, I can give the most important thing is gargles. Hot water, or I can say warm saline gargles. I can say you add a pinch of salt into it. One pinch of salt. Why do we add salt into the warm water? The reason we add salt into warm water because it increases the osmolarity of the water and it will absorb the edema of the pharynx. Thereby, the swollen pharynx is benefited. The swollen pharynx will be benefited. So, warm saline gargles. Secondly, we also prescribe vitamin C high dose. 1 to 2 grams per day, because vitamin C is, they always say, helps in fighting the viruses, increases the immune response. We can also prescribe zinc 10 to 20 milligram per day. Of course, I'm thinking about coronavirus in my mind and thinking about the treatment. Vitamin C, zinc. We also prescribe, there's something called a lozenges. So the lozenges are going to soothe the pharynx. We also have a lot of lozenges which are there, which can be helping you out. Now, what are the conditions you may require an antibiotics? Antibiotic, remember antiviral we don't require. Antibacterial we may require if the patient has got yellow spots in the pharynx. Yellow spots gives an idea about a streptococcal infection. idea about a streptococcal infection. So if there are yellow spots, you may prescribe an antibiotic, penicillins, cephalosporins, depending upon the severity. So we may prescribe penicillins if there are yellow spots. If you think it is bacterial one, then only we may prescribe, but you don't require to give. If you can see, the PDF is getting created. Gradually, these type of flow charts will be helping you to make a diagnosis in your clinical practice. So it's a pharyngeal cough. I'm going to have all those things, that is what we have depicted. Let's go to have one more type of a special pharyngeal cough, which is, let's say we have a second type of pharyngeal, I can say dry cough, and this is a tonsillar cough. This is a tonsillar cough.